Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 7:49 p.m. on this very rainy, blustery Friday evening. It's like kind of torrential downpours right now. It has been almost all day. And I'm just kind of sitting around relaxing. Alex should be home not too long. He got off work about 45 minutes ago, and he went over to a girlfriend's house. He stopped and got some cheeses and some nibbles and snacks and things like that to share with her. It's a girlfriend he hadn't seen for a while, and so he wanted to go over there and catch up. And but he won't be over there late because she is an infant and she is on a very rigid schedule of getting her child into bed, and she goes to bed actually really, really early. So he'll probably be home here in the next hour or two. But anyway, and I don't know what we're gonna do then, like watch a movie or something like that. I haven't been feeling great today. I haven't really felt that well at all. In fact, last night, I thought we would like watch a movie or something. And so when I was like getting my vlog up and doing all that kind of stuff and kind of finalizing everything I needed to do, Alex was like, well, what do you want to watch on TV? And I said, I'm going to be honest, babe. I was like, do you care if I just like lay down for a little bit? I said, I just really don't feel that well. And he was like, no, not at all. He was like, if you get up, we can watch something and whatever. So I said, okay. So I can't remember. He was watching something on TV. He's watching this show on Netflix. It's like a fantasy show. You know, he loves all that kind of stuff. So, kind of Game of Thrones, but not, if that makes sense. I don't know. That's the only way that I know how to categorize it. But anyway, so I ended up laying down and I set my alarm. It was still rather early when I laid down. I set my alarm for like 2 hours, and I ended up, like, when my alarm went off, I turned my alarm off, and I just kept on sleeping. And then he came to bed, and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, I just don't feel very good. I don't know what's going on. And he was like, well, you slept a lot longer than you usually sleep during your naps. My stomach was really hurting me last night. It just kind of, like, came out of nowhere. And I said, well, I told him, I said, my stomach is kind of hurting. And he goes, well, maybe it's something that you ate. Except for that, everything that I had been eating were the same things that I had been eating the whole time that he had been gone. So I don't think that could have possibly been it. So I got up. He went to bed, and I got up, and I was planning on watching like La Brea and catching up on that, and you know, finding something to watch that was new on Netflix and all this kind of stuff. And I sat down here, and I didn't even start La Brea. I got like a cold glass of water. I just felt off. Like I felt like I didn't feel like I was running a fever or anything. My stomach was really, really hurting me last night. And like I felt like almost kind of like I could like be sick, you know? And but other than that, I mean, obviously I was okay. But like, so I sat down here and I drank a glass of water. I don't know, probably for a half an hour, 45 minutes, I just kind of like sat in this chair and I watched like some drag pageant stuff on YouTube. And, I watched this whole interview. There's this guy out of Miami, Florida, and he interviews like pageant queens. And so I guess it was longer than that I sat down here. So I watched this interview that he did with Tiffany T. Hunter. It was like an hour. It was like, I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was like an hour that I watched. And so at that point, like I was still feeling sick. So I was like, I'm just going to go to bed. And I went to bed, and it was still kind of like early for me to go to bed. I had this hair appointment today that I had to be at noon, which meant I had to get my Uber at 11, which means I had to get up at 10 to get ready for it and get everything done, which I know sounds late to a lot of people, but for me, like, you know, going to bed late. Anyway, so I went to bed. Could not fall asleep. My stomach was killing me. And I just kind of like kept on sitting up in bed, and I would like look at my phone. I would look at what time it was, and then I would lay back down, and it would be like, I would like kind of like, I couldn't fall asleep, but I kind of like fall, you know, like get sleepy. And then I look at the clock and it had been like a half an hour, 45 minutes or whatever. And finally at one point, Alex was like, babe, are you okay? And I was like, no, I just really don't feel good at all. And then I had read a lot of comments on my vlog that people said that there's like some kind of stomach flu going around, which I was like, oh, I hope I'm not getting this stomach flu. I hope I'm not getting, you know, really, really sick. So then I woke up today and, but I've just been really tired the last 2 days, like really, really tired. You know, I have such a weird sleep pattern anyway, but like more tired than usual, like where I could just sleep the whole day. And like when I get up, I'm still exhausted. Usually when I get up from like my nap, or, you know, usually like if I sleep and then I get up at night or whatever to watch shows, like when I get up, I've kind of got my second wind. That's not how I've been feeling. I've been feeling like if I sleep and then I get up, like I'm still exhausted when I get up. So today I got up, I felt a little bit better. I think the last time I looked at the clock, it was like 6 something. So I don't know like really consistently how much sleep I got last night, but I was really tired when I got up this morning, but I I felt a little bit better. So I got ready for my appointment, took Boo Radley out. He didn't want to, I mean, it was pouring down rain today. It was so gross. And I mean, on top of that, it was really cold. Like the temperature was really dropped and it was super, super windy. Like he couldn't even like go like just a foot off of our front porch. And it's all muddy there too, so I mean, I didn't want him to get really muddy, and so he just kind of like went to like an area where there was like a little like bush, and he peed real quick. And so anyway, got him ready, and then I called my Uber and got an Uber to my hair appointment and had my hair done. My hair looks, I've been wearing a hat all day long. In fact, like when she was done, because it was so raining so hard, she was like, do you want me to do your hair? I was like, no, I'm just gonna put a hat on anyway. So I got my hair cut, and then when I got done, I was like hungry. It was weird, like, cause I had like not been hungry, and I had like, you know, had just not felt good or whatever. And so I was like looking at like in that area, and in that area where my hairstylist is, there's like a grocery store, and there's like an ice cream shop, and there's like a McAllister's, and there's like a B-Dubs, and like a, what do you call it? A Dunkin' Donuts, and then there was a Joella's Chicken. And I was like, oh, I should go to Joella's Chicken. I haven't had Joella's Chicken in a long time. So if you guys don't know, I used to review Joella's Chicken for my review channel. And Joella's Chicken, which is like fried chicken, chicken sandwiches, whatever, it's called Joella's Hot Chicken. They do like chicken plates, and then they also have like chicken sandwiches and chicken like Sammy's, like little chicken sandwiches and stuff like that. But then they also have like a vegan chicken plate. And I have reviewed it on my my review channel, and I liked it. I thought it was good. And I've had it a couple times since then, because you get like dipping sauces. And I think with the vegan plate, you get like two sides. Or no, you get one side, and then you can get another side for $2.99. But then you get like 3 pieces of chicken that are like this big. Well, it's vegan chicken. They're like this big. They don't look pretty, I can tell you that. But I just, for some reason, it was sounding good to me. So I was like, okay. So I went over there and walked like through the rain, and then I started not feeling good, and then I was kind of like, ugh. And then, you know, like I know it's going to be like another 40 minutes before, like, after I get done eating, to like get an Uber and get home and all this kind of stuff. And at that point, I kind of just wanted to be at home and be in bed. It was like, at that point, it was like 12:45 or something like that. So I ordered my food, and I actually, like, all these people were getting chicken sandwiches, and like a chicken sandwich sounded like, well, like a sandwich like sounded really good to me. So I asked her, I said, can you make the vegan chicken on a chicken sandwich? And she was like, oh yeah, we can do that. So I got a vegan chicken sandwich, and then I got a side of fries, and then I got a large drink, which is still in the kitchen. I got a root beer, and then I got the heat level that I got, because you can get different, like the chicken can be like cooked at a different level or whatever. I got Ella's level, which is like the 3rd hottest. And then I got honey mustard to dip it in, and mayonnaise to put in my sandwich. It was so good, you guys. If there's any vegans or vegetarians out there, and they don't have them in every state. I think they have them in like Kentucky, Ohio, maybe like New Orleans. I think in that area. I don't know why I feel like they have them in that area, but it's called Joella's Hot Chicken, and it's like a chain. Like you can drive through a lot of this one. You couldn't drive through, but because it's like in a strip mall. I went into McAllister's first, and I looked at their menu. I'm not a big McAllister's fan. Caroline and I went there for brunch probably, I don't know, 3 months ago. I'm not a big McAllister's fan. Like, I know that there are people that love it. I know that there are people that are like, oh, I love that their sweet tea. I hear their sweet tea is like really, really good. Joella's Hot Chicken has sweet tea actually, and like not sweet tea. But I'm just like not a fan. First of all, there's really only 2 things that I can get on the menu there. There's like a grilled cheese, and then there's like some salad. So those were like my only 2 options at McAllister's. But I can remember going there back before I was a vegetarian and getting like a turkey sandwich, and I just didn't think that it was like very good. So went to Joella's. It was interesting. I was like sitting there, and it was pretty packed. I mean, it was obviously the time of day that I was there, but it was interesting because like almost all of the guys that were, so it was like all guys that were in there, and like all of the guys that were in there were, well, there was this like one, like these 2 people next to me that looked like, they looked like a brother and a sister that were like in their 20s, but they were like out for a little lunch date. It was kind of cute. But anyway, because it was just like funny to watch their like back and forth, their the conversation that they were having and stuff like that. And they were very different, but they looked exactly the same in the face. But they weren't like old enough to be like father and daughter. They were like, they had to have been like brother and sister. I sit in places because when I go eat by myself, and I'm always like wondering like the stories of people. So it was a lot of like construction workers and like, you know, a lot of people that like, I saw this plumber come in with like his iPad of like he does this. I saw him come, well, his plumbing truck pulled in, and so it was like a lot of like work guys that were coming there, and it was so interesting. They like got all of these huge plates of like fried chicken. Well, not, I mean, they have like, I don't know really what you would call it. It doesn't really, it is fried chicken, but it doesn't seem like fried chicken to me. But it's not a place that I would think that like a lot of like that you would go to during the middle of the day for like lunch, that you would just think like, let's stop at Joella's Hot Chicken. Like it's not a place like that I would think that. I don't know why. Oh, you know what? I wanted to get, they have these pies in a jar there that are so good. I didn't even think about that. Oh well. But so there were like a lot of like workman guys there that were like, you know, like 2 at a table each, and it was busy. I couldn't believe it. So I ate there, and then I called my Uber and got an Uber home, and oh man, both of the Ubers were really nice today. The Uber on the way there, he wasn't real talkative, but he was really nice. And on the way home, he and I, the guy, we talked for a long time, and he was telling me that how long he had driven for Uber and how he got started and all this kind of stuff. And he was like, where did you go to high school? And I was asking him where he went to high school. He was a really nice guy. So, so anyway, came home, and I was so tired when I got home. I just was like absolutely exhausted. And, oh, Tiny Jean's calling me. I'll call her back when I get done. So I was like, I'm gonna lay down for just a little bit. I think I got home at like 2:30, 2:20, 2:30. And so I lay down in bed, and I set my alarm for 4:30. I was like, I'm gonna sleep for 2 hours, and then I'm gonna get up, and I'm gonna make a drama video, and I'm gonna vlog, I'm gonna do a Peterisms video, I'm gonna do a booktube video. I had like all these videos that I wanted to make, right? So I woke up, and it was like, the entire bedroom was pitch black, and I looked over, and like Boo Radley was still asleep and stuff like that. And I picked up my phone, and it was 20 after 6. And I was like, oh my God, how did I sleep this long? Like, what is going on? I'm like, and I did not feel well. And so it was a little bit after that, I got up and stuff, and it was a little bit after that that Alex called and told me, I already knew that he was going over to her house, but he was like on his way over there. And And he was like, how are you feeling, babe? And I was like, I'm tired. Like, right now, it's not so much that my stomach hurts. It's that I'm just really, really tired. So I don't know what's going on. I feel like, when they say under the weather, I just feel under the weather. I just don't feel great today. But if I had to, pinpoint it and say it's this or it's that, I mean, last night it was definitely that, like, my stomach was hurting and I didn't feel good. But I don't know. Today I don't necessarily feel that way. It probably wasn't like, I probably should have eaten something a little bit healthier than Joella's hot chicken, but it didn't seem to hurt me. It was like, it didn't make my stomach hurt any more or less. And so yeah. I don't know, I'm just tired. I don't know what it is. I kind of, for a little while, like, yesterday, I was like, because it was kind of like the second day in a row that I was tired, but yesterday I was, like, really tired. And I was kind of like, you know what, I wonder if, like, Alex having been gone, although it's like, I mean, he got home, Monday night, and this was Thursday, but I was kind of like, I wonder if, like, Alex being gone so long, if, like, maybe I just didn't sleep well that whole time that he was gone, and I just really wasn't that aware of it, and, it just kind of caught up with me, and now that he's home, like, I don't know, that I'm sleeping deeper or whatever, because I definitely do sleep better when he's here. And it's not even about, like, oh, I can't sleep without my loved one being here. It's not anything about that. I don't know what it is. It's just about having someone in bed next to me, or I don't know. So, yeah. And then today was absolutely nasty all day long. Like, other than, I mean, like, when I was out at my hair appointment and stuff, it's like everywhere I walked, it was like, you're in the pouring down rain. And this is the thing, like, I'm somebody that likes rain. Like, I think it's pretty. I think the sound of it is pretty. It's really great nap weather. That's what I told Alex this afternoon when I got home. I said, I'm gonna take a nap. I said, it's good. This is perfect nap weather, when it's like blowing and it's blustery outside. And it is. It's perfect nap weather, right? I don't know if it's perfect nap weather to sleep 4 hours. I don't think I needed that. But yeah, it's good nap weather. And I don't mind it as far as, like, sitting inside and watching shows and listening to, audio book or, I don't know, whatever, reading or whatever. But the thing is like, when I'm somebody that walks outside and goes and talks to my neighbors, the other day I was like, went across the street, was talking to my neighbors and all that kind of stuff. Oh, by the way, some people ask, like, what she thought of the green lights. So the other day, but anyway, I'm the kind of person that's like walking, around to my neighbors' houses and saying hi to them, and they come over and sit on my front porch. And so it's hard when it's like this weather outside, because that's not the case. Like, they're not leaving their houses and I'm not going across the street to theirs, kind of thing, And so the warmer, nicer weather just kind of, like, invites more of these opportunities to talk with my neighbors and be neighborly, and I miss that, it's nice for me. So anyway, I took the lights over to her the other day. It was funny because, so they did this, like, neighborhood thing where they picked a restaurant. So my neighbor on the other side, she is I don't even know what the position is called, but it's basically like everything recreational that they do in the neighborhood. She's, like, in charge of coming up with it. So they picked a restaurant, and then it was like they were having, like, a neighborhood dinner at this restaurant that, like, they rented out a room, and then the restaurant was, like, catering it, and it was like $25 a head and stuff like that. So I really, like, they had put, like, a flyer out for it, invited everybody, and then I had kind of completely forgot about it. Like, I knew that Alex would say absolutely not. Like, I could care less to do that. But I didn't, like, I mean, I could have easily, like, ridden with somebody and gone to it or whatever. But in all honesty, the thing is, other than the people across the street and then the people next to me, like the two people across the street and then the people next to me, I really have no desire to, like, I mean, I knew my neighbor over here. I knew she wasn't gonna go. I mean, she's like 28. So, like, I don't, like a lot of the other neighbors I don't know. I mean, maybe it would be a good way for me to get to know some of them. I know them enough to say hi, like when they walk down the street, and, you know, they'll say, hey, Peter. There's a couple of them that we know each other and stuff like that. But, like, I didn't know if they were going and whatever. So, anyway, enough of that. I wasn't going. It's not my thing. I wasn't going. So, but I knew that the people across the street, like the guy that comes and sits on the porch and talks to me, I knew they were going because he had told me, which kind of surprised me because they don't really engage in a lot of that kind of stuff. And so when his wife was the one that I bought the green lights for, which she absolutely loved. And so I came in, like, I'd seen their condo before a couple times, but they were like standing in their kitchen when I walked up. And so I came inside and like stood and talked for a second. And oh my God, their condo is so cute. Like they have redone it and it is just absolutely delightful inside. But anyway, so he was going, but she wasn't going because she had decided that she just didn't want to go at the last minute, and she had been like running around doing stuff all day long. And so but so we were talking about like the food because she was like telling him what she wanted him to bring home and all this kind of stuff. And which is interesting because Alex had like this meeting there like a couple weeks ago or a month ago or something, and he had brought me food home, this like vegetarian pasta, which was delicious. And I was telling them that. I was like, no, the food is like really, really good. So anyway, so he was going, but they were telling me that something about like so many people had signed up originally. And so she had booked a room and gotten like that much food for that amount of people. But then at the last minute, like in the last couple days, like 20 or 30 people had pulled out. Like 20 people had pulled out or 30 people had pulled out. And so I don't know. The story he told me and what the truth was were completely two different things. So I think he got it misconstrued. I don't think he understood. Because I felt bad because he was like, so now she's going to have to come up with all this money out of her own pocket. This is the kind of HOA stuff that people are constantly talking about in the neighborhood, right? So he was like, well, she's going to have to come up with all this kind of money and yada, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And so I came back. I was like, well, I'm going to go talk to her. So I came back to her house and I got some money and I went next door, and she was making brownies to take to this dinner because apparently there weren't like desserts or anything. So she was asking people to bring desserts and she was bringing brownies. And so anyway, and they were like not like worried about it at all. And I said, well, I was talking to them and they said, you know, that like you didn't. She's like, no. She was like, it's like we have like $100 like bar tab which this is kind of typical with like VIP spaces and things like that. She was like, we have to fill the $100 bar tab. Like, and if we don't get enough like people to buy like $100 worth of alcohol, then I have to come up with the money, and it's not in the HOA. Who is texting me? Hold on a second. She said it's not in the HOA fund. She goes, which I don't know why. So she said, so then I have to, hold on a second. It's Tanya Jean. She's like worried. She's like, I've been calling. And she called me last night. I had fallen asleep. And then when I woke up, it was like, I didn't want to call her if it was like, if she was asleep. So she was just telling me that basically they had to meet their bar limit, their bar tab, which was like $100. And I was like, well, let me pay for Alex and I mean, even though we're not going to go, like, you know. And she was like, no, I'm not going to let you do that. And I was like, no, please. Like, she was like, no. She's like, we're going to be fine. And she's like, but I just don't understand. She was like, why they, you know, they want us to come up with all these ideas. Like the HOA board wants us to come up with all these ideas of fun things to do, but then they don't want to put any money into it or have any kind of like, you know, purse where we save money for that. And she was like, it really wouldn't take that much money. I can't remember what she was telling me. Something about the flyers that she made. She said, you know, I went out and I made these flyers, and she was like, you know, that was like $20. And she was like, something else that I went and did, she goes, that was like $30. And she was, when you add it up, over a year of putting flyers together and doing all this kind of stuff out of my own pocket, she goes, it comes to like $300 or $400, you know? And I said, you know, what if we had each person, each, you know, family, each condo donate $5 towards a recreation fund for a year, and that would be, if there's 60 condos in here, that would be $300. And I said, and I can't imagine that, you know, with everything we pay in HOA fees and stuff like that, that people wouldn't donate $5 towards a recreation fund. That's free. You get to attend. I mean, they have concerts with food vans and stuff that come down to the pool and stuff like that. She arranges all of that stuff. And she's like, you know, that's a really good idea. She's like, you should be on the recreation board. I was like, I told her, I said, I'm more than willing to be on the recreation board if you want me to. And she's like, okay. So she was like, no, but she was like, we need to come up with some ideas of how to do some fundraising. She was like, because we could do more stuff if we had the funds to do it. But she was like, you know, people complain because we do like mocktails and cocktail. They do this thing like once a month in the summer called mocktails and cocktails. And like everybody comes up there and they sit around the pool and whatever, and then you can either bring mocktails or cocktails, you just sit and talk, right? And she's like, but you know, she was like, we could do a little bit more with that, or, you know, get some carry out food or whatever. That would be more fun for everybody. Or, you know, we could even go and buy some steaks, because there's like a grill up there and stuff. She's like, we could even buy like some steaks and grill out or do chicken or whatever. You know, she was like, but I'm not gonna, you know, do all this kind of stuff and have it come out of my pocket, which I don't blame her 1 second for, you know. And she actually came up with all these ideas. Like, she wanted to do caroling with like candles and stuff. And she's like, you know, I'm willing to buy the candles. She had said this before, but she's like, I'm willing to buy the candles. I'm willing to buy all this kind of stuff. But she was like, you know, at some point, she was like, it gets to be kind of expensive. So, yeah. And I think there's a lot of people in here that just take it for granted. I mean, I would have no problem, you know, giving 20 or 50 bucks over for a recreation fund for people to be able to enjoy things like that, even if it didn't necessarily mean that I was going to go and do those things. You know, I think that for the other people in the neighborhood, it would be nice, because there's a lot of people in here that, like, my mom would have enjoyed that, you know, when she lived in here. There were a lot of people that drove my mom crazy. But I think if my mom lived in here today and she had the neighbors that we have, like, I think she would have really enjoyed the neighborhood more. When my mom was in here, she was one of the youngest people in here, like us. And I think that she felt very judged. I mean, I just don't care. Alex doesn't care, you know. But she felt very judged, I think. There weren't like a lot of single people that lived in here at the time that my mom lived in here that were single because they were divorced. There were a lot of people that, which, I mean, you know, my mom moved. Oh, look, there's Mr. Boo Radley. You want to come up here? Which, you know, at the time that my mom got divorced or moved in here was, you know, 94 going into 95. Hello. Say hello to everybody. Your paws are a little bit cold still from going outside. Do you like running around in the rain? He said, do you think, are you looking at me like I'm an idiot? He said, I hate that rain. You hate it? He said, I hate it, Dad. But, you know, my mom, I think, there were like a lot of widows and widowers in here. And I think for her, like in her mind, I don't know why, you know, I mean, 94 going into 95, it was like half the world was divorced at that point, right? But I think in her mind, she made it to be that people still judged her or looked at her differently. Because she was a divorced woman living in a condo by herself. I don't know, I just think that she really judged it, you know. When she got sober 6 months later, because, you know, she moved in here and then she got sober 6 months later, I think she cared less about that stuff. Like, I just don't think it mattered to her as much. But at the time that she moved in here, I don't know, but that's not true, because like down the road, like when she would go to the pool and stuff like that, because her grandma lived in here at the time, has lived in here this whole time, and would say stuff, you know, about my mom and whatever. Who is texting me now? Oh my Lord. This never happens to me that I get these kind of texts. Hold on a second. Alex was asking me something about Miami that I don't know. So yeah, so I think but I think if she was in here today, it stopped. There are a lot of single women in here that A, were never married, or B, are widows, or C, widows. I don't know why that sounded so funny. Or C, are divorced, right? That are very independent and, they're not 60 like my mom were, but they're like 65 to 75. And, they've made friends in here. They go to the pool together. They walk in the neighborhood together and things like that. And they do all these social things. They're the ones that are doing the social activities. Social activity chair, I think that's what her title is. They're the ones that are doing these social activities, when they happen, the mocktails and the cocktails and the dinners and all this kind of stuff. Like, they enjoy doing that. I think that my mom would have enjoyed it more, And this is like a really weird thing that I'm thinking of right now, but I remember like years and years and years ago, I watched Gigi Gorgeous long before she transitioned, and she did this video and she was talking about like being in high school and participating in things and I think it was like going to pep rallies and whatever. And she was talking about, she said something that just seems like such a simple thing, but like was never my reality. And she said something, she's like, what are you gonna do? Not participate? Like, you have to participate in life, right? And I think and I remember like it hit me so profoundly, like when I heard that, and I mean, she was much younger than me at the time, obviously, when I was watching it. That video is probably 14, 15 years old at this point now, 10, 12 years old, I don't even know. But I can remember watching that and thinking, I wish I had had that attitude in my life, I wish I had had that attitude of, what are you going to do? You have to participate. Because I haven't participated. And now, like, I'm probably thinking to myself, well, I should have gone to dinner the other night. I should have just like suited up and showed up and gone to dinner. I might have had some fun, I might have met some other people and whatever. Although, when talking to my neighbor across the street when he came home, because I was outside talking to his wife when he came home, and I said, did you have a good time? He's like, yeah, it was okay. It was good. It was fun. And I said, did you meet a lot of nice new people? And he was like, no, I just talked to everybody that I already knew. So that's probably what I would have done too. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I mean, maybe I do need to participate more, Maybe that's the lesson to take from all of this, is that in my life, I haven't participated a ton, And I think that my social anxiety and, it's interesting because like my friend Valerie, she'll always like joke with me about my social anxiety, and she'll say, you say that you have social anxiety, but like you are like one of the friendliest people that I know. She'll say like, you'll go up to strangers and start talking to them. And it's really this attitude that I have, this tool that I have, where I try to push through it, because I don't want to constantly live in this fear of what other people think about me. And one of the things that I've learned is, if I'm standing in line at the grocery store to say to somebody, oh, I pick something out, and I'll say like, I really like your sweater, or like, oh, how are you doing today? Or God, this weather sucks, doesn't it? Or, whatever, like just, like your earrings or whatever. And I try to do that so that I get more comfortable talking to people. And maybe the next step in that is participating more in life. I often stay shut up in my own four walls, and because it's safe and it's comfortable, and but maybe that's the next step for me is participating more in life, and maybe that's the lesson I need to learn from all of this. Maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know what that means for me. I don't know. I think for me to all of a sudden go out and get real involved in something is not me. It's not what's going to happen. Like, I think it's going to have to be something slow, like going to a dinner that they have in the neighborhood or something like that, but what do you think, boo? Boo said, I think it's just you, me, and Dad, and we just stay here forever and we don't go see nobody. See, Boo thinks just the way that I do. You do, don't you? You think just the way that I do. It is kind of weird to me sometimes when I think about like what I do, you know, and that I make YouTube videos and it's just kind of crazy to me sometimes when I look at like, I mean, let's just be for real. I'm not getting millions of views. I know that, right? But I mean, I get good views for, you know, a YouTuber that has, you know, sits down and just does videos and, you know, and so like, even like on my Peterson's channel, like when I get like 600 or 1,000 views, I'm like, that is so crazy to me that I am like reading meditations and like 1,000 people watch this video, you know, like it's crazy to me. 1,000 people. Like, I can remember when I hit 1,000 like subscribers on BookTube, and the idea of having 1,000 people in a room watching like one of my videos, like just was kind of out there to me. Like I couldn't even really like put it together. Like it just was really like bizarre to me, you know? And that's never really been lost on me, I guess, you know, when I see like, I don't know, like I don't get ate up with the numbers. Like when people say like, oh, like the views don't matter to me. Like I'm not gonna say that. Like when my views are more on a video than others, like that definitely means more to me because it means that more people watch that video. And of course, like that makes me happy. I would want more people to watch that video, right? But I don't get ate up with it. Like I don't get real depressed about it, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I just feel so blessed that this is what I get to do every single day, and I get to wake up and, you know, and this is my life. It's miraculous, you know. But sometimes it's like weird to me that like in public, you know, I am rather shy. I am, like, it's interesting, like, even, like, with just, like, small groups of people, like, going over to somebody's house for dinner, like, if somebody invited us over to dinner and they said we're gonna have, like, 4 couples over or whatever, you know, like, I would be friendly. Like, I've learned, like, over time how to get through some of that stuff and be like, hi, I'm Peter, it's nice to meet you. Like, I can get through that. It's still really difficult for me, and I think people don't know that as much anymore because, you know, before I just wouldn't go, or like I really did let my social anxiety stand in the way of it. Like I just wouldn't go, or if I went, like unless they talked to me first, I wouldn't talk to them. I've learned ways around, I've learned to be the person to talk to them first. And so, you know, I feel like I've come a long way with a lot of that. I'm still not super comfortable with it. And so, I don't know, and I think it's so interesting though, you know, like I hear a lot of like people that do YouTube or TikTok or whatever kind of share this sentiment. It's like, it's not really though, like you're talking to thousands of people. It's like, you're just really kind of like talking to 1 or 2 people that are sitting, you know, in their living room or, you know, listening to you as they fall asleep or whatever. You're being such a good boy. You're bored today, aren't you? He said, well, I haven't really been able to run outside much. I haven't really got to run after the squirrels and the bunny rabbits and the deer and the fox and the birds. The birds are my favorite. The birds are your favorite? He said, oh yes, the birds are my favorite. What birds are your favorites? He said, I don't know, those red ones. Those are called cardinals, Boo Radley. We've been having a lot of bluebirds here lately. I was sitting on my front porch. I think it might have been, I don't remember what day it was, but I thought it was like that day that it was really nice outside, but maybe it was the day before. And I was talking to my sponsor, and I was like, 2 bluebirds just landed like right in front of me. And then I was like, oh my God, 2 more bluebirds landed in front of me. And then I was like, oh my God, 2 cardinals just landed in front of me. And she was like, you are so funny. I was like, where are these beautiful birds coming from? Like, is spring here? You know, and then it's like chirp, 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 chirp. And like we hear all these birds, right? And then all of a sudden it's cold and rainy and nasty outside. We don't like it, do we, Boo? He said, no, we don't like it at all. Well, all right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here and start uploading this and call Tanya Jean back and just relax for the rest of the night. I need to put some sweat shorts on. Or sweatpants on. I have sweat shorts on, and so to take him outside, it's a little cold. I'm like, come on, Boo Radley. Come on, Boo Radley. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna go down there and put those on right now so he can, then I'll call Tanya while he's running around a little bit longer outside. It sounds like it stopped raining a little bit, so there's that. All right, you guys, I love you. Thank you for hanging out with me on this Friday evening, and I hope that you're having a magically amazing Friday evening, and if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And remember these 3 very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Be putting a smile on their face, changing their day, hopefully, making them feel better about their lives, and just making them happy. And, you know, why wouldn't we want to do that? It's free, and it's nice, and it's kind, and it's compassionate. So let's do it. And also, be kinder to one another, love one another a little bit more, and also be kinder and love yourselves a little bit more. And it really does make a difference. And I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!